Greetings and thank you for joining us for the 31st episode of DC Animation with Spencer and Friends. This is an LMG Podcast Production. Today, I'm joined by a dear friend.
Hi, I am Brittany.
Brittany is here with us today. Brittany, I'm so happy to have you. Before we start, I do have a quick question for you. Can you tell the people a little bit about your DC consumption? Comic books, shows, movies, video games. What DC do you take in or have you taken in?
Um, I grew up on the 90s Batman, so Batman Forever, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, those were my favorites as a kid, and that's what got me into it. Um, I do read a lot of DC comics, anything with Poison Ivy in it. She is my favorite.
That works out. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love it. Well, all right. I appreciate you for joining us on this journey through DC animation. Today's film is Batman and Harley Quinn, released March 31st, 2017. I'm going to read a synopsis in my own words and then we're just going to talk about it.
Okay.
So, we open at Star Labs where Poison Ivy and Floronic Man are stealing information about Dr. Alec Holland and the Biorestoration Project. Batman and Nightwing arrive on the scene to let us know that Dr. Holland is now Swamp Thing. In efforts to locate Poison Ivy and Floronic Man, Batman and Nightwing decide they need to find Harley Quinn. Batman goes over to Argus to ask about the disappearance of Dr. Harold Goldblum, the world's leading expert on pandemic-style diseases, but no leads. Nightwing is searching for Harley Quinn and comes across a restaurant that is pretty much a superhero themed Hooters where he spots her. After following her home, he asks her to help find Poison Ivy, but she refuses because she has retired from the costume game. She and Nightwing fight, and just as Nightwing, uh, is about to get the upper hand, she doses him with a low-grade Joker venom, and then she knocks him out. Batman goes to search the home of Dr. Goldblum to find evidence that Floronic Man was there. Or he finds evidence that Floronic Man was there. Nightwing wakes up tied to a bed in Harley's apartment. She goes over all of the rejection letters that she has gotten for jobs for which she has applied due to her history. Then, after, you know, trying to decide what to wear, she notices Nightwing's arousal, and they decide to focus on each other, then focus on finding Poison Ivy.
As one does.
Yeah, we see that Poison Ivy is using her pheromone kisses to control Dr. Goldblum. She and Floronic Man complain that humanity is destroying the environment and that after they get this disease online, everyone will have a vested interest in going green. Batman is able to locate Nightwing and through his incredible detective skills deduces that they quote unquote got what they needed. With Harley agreeing to help, the three get in the car and Batman explains that based on the evidence, they are trying to use the process that created Swamp Thing to turn that into a virus that will turn the entire planet into plant people. They find one of Poison Ivy's henchmen and begin chase. After catching him, we find out that he was just a guy from Harley's past. So they get back in the car and Batman starts lecturing. After that, they head to Bloodhaven to actually talk to Poison Ivy's henchman, who is hanging out at a bar where hench people, typically like to hang out and drink. They are able to get information from Shrubby, and Batman fights everyone in the bar off screen. Booster Gold calls in and offers to help with the situation, but Batman and Nightwing decide they'd rather just handle it themselves than involve Booster Gold. Dr. Goldblum explains to Poison Ivy and Floronic Man that they need to go to the actual swamp where Swamp Thing was created in order to make the virus work. Then Batman, Nightwing, and Harley bust in, and Ivy is super disappointed to see that Harley Quinn is working with Batman, and the fighting begins. During the fight, a fire breaks out. Dr. Goldblum starts to come out of his mind control, and Floronic Man collects all of the work that they have and stabs the doctor, and he and Poison Ivy make their escape. Dr. Goldblum is able to tell them to go to Louisiana before dying in Harley's arms. Floronic Man and Poison Ivy become one with the Green to get to Louisiana, and Batman and Nightwing head to Louisiana to stop them. Harley isn't invited, but manages to convince Batman to let her tag along. They arrive in Louisiana, and Harley pushes Batman and Nightwing into a trap so that she can talk to Ivy about not turning the world into plant people. Poison Ivy and Harley, start throwing hands while Batman and Nightwing fight Floronic Man. Poison Ivy subdues Harley and is about to get the virus going, but Harley pulls out the nuclear option, which does stop Poison Ivy from going through with the plan. Floronic Man tries to go through with the plan, but Swamp Thing appears and tells him, what you're doing is terrible, but I'm gonna let you ball out. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. But out of ideas, Batman and Nightwing are like, what are we going to do? And Harley reminds them that fire is super effective against grass types. And then in the post-credit scene, Harley hosts a show where contestants go through wipeout style obstacle courses to win free therapy. And that's the movie. So Brittany, what'd you think of the movie?
Uh, I really like it. The animated movies are always and have always been way better for DC. Uh, they're just short, um, very adult. You always think, oh, this is a cartoon, so this is going to be kiddie. No.
Nope. That is the whole reason I have this podcast,
Yeah.
is for the animation because it's so good.
Mhm.
So, what were your thoughts on the art style?
I do really like the art style. I actually have a Poison Ivy tattoo that I mixed a couple of the different art styles of Poison Ivy together into one, and this Poison Ivy was one that I used for my tattoo because I
Excellent.
really liked how she looked.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So, of course, this movie exists in the same universe as Batman the Animated Series,
Mhm.
which is the, animated series from the 90s, and Superman is involved, the Justice League Unlimited, like all that is this same universe. So, and there are references made to that, just kind of all through it. What were your thoughts on the voice cast?
Ooh. I am not a fan of Harley Quinn's voice in this one. That is
Huh,
the first thing that stuck out to me when I rewatched it for this, was that I still do not like her voice. Um, I don't know why. The accent is fine. It works. It's just how dumb they make her sound, I think. But
okay.
otherwise, uh Batman is great. Nightwing is great. But the Harley one, it just gets me.
I feel the same way. So of course, Kevin Conroy, that's my Batman. So like every time he's Batman, I'm in. We're
Hmm.
good. Um, Not a huge fan of Bernadette's Harley Quinn. It wasn't terrible, and I feel like there were moments where it was better than worse. Like as the movie went on, I think I was more okay with it. I think that she did a pretty good a pretty good loud Harley, like whenever Harley is yelling or crying or whenever Harley's got a lot of emotion.
Yes.
I think she did that well, but it was the quieter moments of Harley where she's just kind of talking that I wasn't a huge fan of.
Yes. Right at the beginning, it's almost grates on you. But like you said, the further it goes into the movie, you're just like, oh, okay, this is Harley.
Yeah. But it did take a minute.
Hmm.
But yeah, but yeah, the subdued, like calm Harley, I don't think she nailed that.
No.
But yeah, like the loud, boisterous, Harley having emotions and like doing a bunch. Yeah, like that, she nailed. Um, I was good with Paget as Poison Ivy. I think that worked. Um, and then Kevin Michael Richardson can do whatever he wants. So yeah, him being Floronic Man also made sense. Had you ever heard of Floronic Man before this?
No.
Okay, so fun fact, that guy was in the George Clooney Batman movie, like that character, where Uma Thurman was Poison Ivy.
Yeah, that's crazy that I watched that movie so many times and I do not remember his character.
Well, and that makes sense because in the movie he was just a dude, but they had the same name. Like you would have had to pay attention to the name to know it
Yeah.
was him. But in the Clooney movie, Pamela's boss,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
that guy.
That's him. Okay.
Yeah. And so yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, just a little, little fun fact there.
To dig deep
Um,
in the archives of the brain to remember those.
yes, yes, indeed. So, let's just kind of talk through the movie. So, um, at the beginning, we see that Poison Ivy and Floronic Man are stealing information about Swamp Thing. Had you ever heard of Swamp Thing?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Um, you are one of the things that I was going to ask you. You're familiar with the current or the new Harley Quinn show, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Great show. Um, I'm to the point now where like that's normal for me, and so whenever stuff is different from that, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
some of the stuff in that show, it took me like some time to get used to because it was very different from like what I'm used to because it's a comedy, like up and
Mhm.
down, like absolutely a comedy. And so there's a lot of stuff they're making fun of, but now I'm to the point where like Clayface being an actor is normal to me, and like King Shark wearing a hoodie,
Mhm.
like that's my life now. And so it's always interesting to me now to see different versions of people that appeared in that. And the version of Swamp Thing in that was that was an interesting take on Swamp Thing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a sidebar there. But yeah, they're looking to see about Swamp Thing's creation because they figure if we turn the world into plant people, then we won't have people destroying the planet. Like we can just solve that. And Batman and Nightwing arrive, and they are the ones who tell us, like, yeah, that's Swamp Thing. And so they decide, okay, Harley is Poison Ivy's best friend. She's probably going to be able to help us find Poison Ivy.
Mhm.
And so I feel like finding Harley was pretty easy, even though she was supposedly off the grid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they definitely made that sound like this is going to be a long investigation. And they were just like, ah, well, she's just working at Hooters.
Yeah, like this is going to be a task, and it's going to take us forever to do it. And he was just like, no, she's right there, just just right there. Okay. Um, So, of course, Batman goes over to Argus, and Argus is kind of like the huge government operation um, that can kind of do whatever they want. And, Batman talks to the guy, and he's like, I don't have anything for you. And then Batman is like, well, how about blackmail? Because I know some activities that you get into. And he was like, oh, why didn't you say that at the beginning?
Now that you say something,
Like, I actually do have a couple of things. Not a whole lot, but like a little bit. And I also thought it was funny whenever they were in the apartment and the Argus guy was like, yeah, my people are the best. And Batman was like, no offense, but they're not me. And then whenever Batman finds something and he's like, have you ever seen anything like this? He's like, no, I haven't. That's because it's not from this world. And your people didn't know that. And so then later he was like, my people are the best. And he thought about it. And he was like, my people, they're pretty good.
yeah.
They do all right. Yeah, and Batman was like, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So, um, Dick or Nightwing is able to find Harley and he follows her home and she's like, "Dude, I know you're there. You don't have to skulk. Like, come out." And then he, pretty much baits her into fighting him by saying like, "Hey, you're a doctor. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, let's go.
Hit her
If we're doing
right,
this, we're doing this."
right in the feels. Yeah.
And then of course she's losing and then she hits him with the Joker Venom and she knocks him the fuck out. Uh and so she drags him into the building and then he wakes up. And I will say this is the first time I consciously remember seeing Harley deal with her identity issues
hmm
because in the show we definitely see it. In the live action movie we see it a little bit with Birds of Prey, but and I'm sure that we've seen it before this. Because there's another movie that she's in, Assault on Arkham, which is pretty much a Suicide Squad movie, and in it, Harley does end up going back with the Joker, and she ends up saying like, he does, yeah, he's a terrible guy, but the devil is pretty much how that kind of ends up. But this is the first time I remember seeing Harley say like, "I don't really know who I am." Um, because everybody looks at me and they see, the Joker's sidekick, or they see a crazy person, or they see a whore. Like she's really not sure who she is, and she's coming to grips with the fact that the world is kind of deciding who she is without her having any say, just based on her history.
Yeah, that's somewhat refreshing in a way because in most of these movies, the even if you're a villain or a superhero as a female in this universe, you're just something to look at. And Harley was originally created as something to just look at next to the Joker. She wasn't meant to have any kind of a backstory or do anything. She was literally just supposed to be a Harlequin that was there. Um, so it's nice to see that later on and now they're like, well, wait, what if she does have feelings? What if we did give her that backstory of having a master's degree and doing all of this stuff? And then to say, like, well, how do you feel about losing that because you fell in love with the Joker and all of these events happened? So giving her that chance to say, like, kind of sucks. Like, I can't even get back into that because of the choices that I made in my life. I really like that. I like that they took a second to give her depth.
Yeah,
She wasn't meant to have depth.
originally no, because yeah, like she was, like you said, she was just designed as a nameless sidekick,
Mhm.
and the people loved her so much that she transcended and got all of her own shit. Like she and Deadpool did what they weren't supposed to, break through like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did, and they have so much character now, and like you said, a lot of depth. And it's really nice to see that. It's refreshing to see her reform because I'm sure that there are a lot of people that can relate to, "Oh, I fell in love with a terrible person because he was very good at manipulation." Like that was his whole thing.
hmm
And you know, even though he was a terrible guy, and even though I hated a lot of it, like I was so deeply wrapped in it. And to see her be able to get herself out of that, and the fact that they made her a psychologist, and so she can see shit in other people. Like there are a lot
Yeah.
of times we will see Harley diagnose people and say like, "All of these things lead me to believe that you're going through this or that you have these issues." And it's like, Harley, you see that, but like here you are. And
But there's crazy things.
that's so realistic because there's so many
Mhm.
people who, when it's not them, they can see it clearly. And it's
Mhm.
like, well, why are you doing that? And it's like, I don't have a good answer. That's just what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that.
One of her lines in this movie that made me laugh out loud. And I have a psych degree, so maybe that's one of the reasons why I really like Harley and having this type of conversation about her. Um, but where he calls her a psychopath and she was like, I am a sociopath. Please get this correct. Everyone
Get
always
your shit
mixes
right.
that up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's just an example of her like being very like she knows her shit,
Mhm.
and like she's the fact that they assigned her to the Joker means that she was a top tier doctor. And so, like, yeah, like she knows what she's talking about and she has all of the knowledge, but yeah, like she just ended up in a bad situation. And you know, it happens to the best of people.
Yeah.
And she's just trying to, survive and claw her way out of that and, defeat the perceptions and all of the, negative stigmas that have been associated with her through her relationship with the Joker. Because in other situations, because even in Assault on Arkham, another animated movie where we see Harley, the Penguin sees her and is immediately pissed because of what she and the Joker did like back in the day.
Mhm.
And yeah, he's like, "Now get her out of my face. I do not like her." And so I'm sure that that extends outward because I'm sure there are a lot of people that she never actually did anything to, but her connection to the Joker is or her just being in the room
Yeah.
while the Joker did stuff. Yeah, so she has inherited so many enemies just through her connection with him. But I mean, that's what happens. And so she's going over with Nightwing like, "Hey, just so you know, I am trying to use my doctor shit, but I can't because of because of my past. Like it's being held against me. There's nothing I can do. Nobody wants to hire me because everybody knows who I am." And so that's why I'm working at Super Babes because I nobody wants to hire, the Joker's previous girlfriend,
Yeah.
even though I have all the credentials. So yeah, here are all of my rejection letters. I took it personally when you said that to me. But don't think I didn't try.
Yeah.
Like don't assume that I just decided to give up on all that. Like it's the world that's the problem here. So that's why I took that personally. That's why I had to knock you the fuck out. So, um, yeah, we see that after that, because she was kind of talking to herself and being like, "Hey, I should just kill him." No, we don't do that anymore. I'm better than that now. What? I don't need to kill him. And that whole thing. And I was like, so she's just talking to herself. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
It's a
And
sociopath
then
in her coming out.
yeah. Um, and so I assume you already knew the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath.
Yes, a little bit, if I can y- remember exactly. But a psychopath has a little bit more of the delusions and grandeur and all of that. And then a sociopath is that manipulative, doesn't quite understand emotions very well. Like I wouldn't be able to read your emotions and understand and react to them like a normal person would. That's more
Okay.
of the
Because
sociopath side.
I know one of them doesn't have empathy, and so they just like watch and learn. Like they take cues from real life and then like copy that, but they don't have actual empathy.
So both of them are like that, yeah.
Okay.
Sociopath is more less likely to be violent, I think. I could be entirely wrong on all of this, but
Hashtag not a doctor.
yeah,
Okay.
just a bachelor's out there for everyone wondering.
Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. So, she is, deciding what to wear, and Nightwing is trying not to notice.
Oh yeah, he's struggling.
Yeah, but Harley Quinn is over there looking right, and she notices. Now, My thought is, she says to him, "You got me all smelly. I need to take a shower."
Yeah.
And then just proceeds to have him.
Mhm.
I do like that she got consent first. That was important because he was tied up. But I'm gonna need you to take that shower first.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people, some people are about it, whatever. They don't care. But like, I would have needed you to take that shower first because you went out of your way to tell me that you stink based on the fight that we had, and you've been at work all day.
Yeah. And then fought in the alley, got thrown in the literal trash can, and then was just like, meh.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you
I
to
don't know.
take that
He wasn't
shower.
really in the position to
He
argue
couldn't
it,
he
though.
couldn't really negotiate. This is true.
No, no.
But
I wonder, though, if it was a flaw and like they just didn't show that part. They forgot with the dialogue and the animation, or was it on purpose? I
I mean,
don't.
based on the situation, it sounds like they got right to it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I, that's just, I had to, suspend my disbelief for a minute. And again, there are some people who are unbothered by that.
Yeah. Well, and then maybe it was like a, hey, you threw me in the trash. You made me all smelly.
So this is
Now
what we're
you
doing.
deal with it.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know he didn't get a shower either. So,
Yes. Yeah.
okay. But, whatever. Grown people are going to do what they do. And so, uh, they know each other biblically. And then after that, we see that Poison Ivy is controlling Dr. Goldblum with the pheromone kisses. That's one of those things that has like always been a problem for me.
Hmm.
Um, I I feel like it is a comic book trope to use women kisses as a weapon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I know it's always been a thing and all that, but like I've just never been a huge fan of that concept. On both sides of it, because the fact that they are saying, or it says to me that they're saying, women are just using it as a manipulation tactic, and that it has to be like that's like, why couldn't it be literally anything else? Why does she? Because one of the things she said is like, I have to kiss him every 6 hours. Because Frying Man is like, why are you doing that? Stop it. Like he's getting bothered. And so I'm like, why does it have to be that way? And I mean, we see the same thing in the Clooney movie. Like that's
Yeah.
just what it was. And so that's always been a part of her character because she's, very physically attractive and, of course men want to kiss her. And so, she's using that to control people, but I'm like, we probably could use something different.
Yeah, because even in that one with Uma Thurman that you're talking about, she has like the powder that she can blow on them. She doesn't even really need to touch them.
Exactly.
But they are characters written by men. I
And
will
a
say
long time
that.
ago.
So there's that aspect, which Poison Ivy's always been kind of the sex
Always.
appeal. That's her thing. Um, and they use that to their advantage. The red lipstick, the bodysuit and showing as much skin as possible. That's always been her thing. And that is contradictory that I really always liked about Harley Quinn was when she had her original costume. It wasn't so much the sex appeal with her. Um, but they did change that up for a little bit,
Yeah.
which was a little disappointing with how they did Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Um, but I would be interested to see what Margot Robbie would do with a Poison Ivy character if she got control of that and let him change it up a little bit. However, back to the original part. Yeah, it is a little frustrating that that is always the direction that they go. Um,
And I mean, I know
because
that
there's so
that's
many
fair.
other,
There are a
sorry.
lot of avenues to take with that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the fact that that's the way that they made her do it, and then the fact that these men, like only men are susceptible to it, and all of that, like they have
Yeah.
made some positive changes to Poison Ivy just kind of in general. But
They
yeah,
could do something different with her for sure.
yeah, and it's not only Poison Ivy. Like I think that like a kiss either to kill or to control is a thing that comic books have used other than Poison Ivy, but I feel like Poison Ivy is the main one they use it with. And yes, she is very specifically um you know looked at as physically attractive, and like that's her whole thing,
Mhm.
is to be enticing, to be seductive, and I
Well,
get that, but
she also is a doctor who was not looked at before she became a villain too.
mhm.
She had the frizzy hair, she had the glasses, she was overlooked in her career and also as a woman with any sex appeal whatsoever. So then when she got her powers, she all of a sudden was very beautiful and had these curves and I think maybe she uses that to her advantage of, oh, these men never paid attention to me before. So now you want all of my attention. And with that, I'm going to give it to you, but it's deadly.
Yeah, I'm
So,
gonna get what I need from you.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. And that makes sense because that's one of the things that is absolutely true that I forgot about, was the fact that, yeah, like Pamela, nobody was looking at Dr.
Hmm.
Pamela. Yeah, like Dr. Isley, she just overlooked, as you said. And yeah, now um she got some powers, and she come out there looking right, and everybody's like, "Oh, we are so sorry, Pamela."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh no, I got something for you.
She's like, come tell me how sorry you are exactly. Come
Yeah,
closer.
let me know. Yeah, come here."
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That because honestly, now at this point, I'm used to Poison Ivy just already being Poison Ivy, but I forgot that she started as, a botanist that nobody wanted to look at and that was getting pushed around and all that. And so, yeah, now that she's cute, she's like, "Oh, okay. Now y'all want to talk to me? Okay. I got something for you. How about you take care of this thing for me?" So, okay. That's a good point. So, um, we see that she and Floronic Man are having their conversation. So he's basically saying, um, man is the worst thing that has ever happened. And we need to take care of that because, I mean, we can. We have everything that we need. And this guy is the only reason we haven't done it yet. And then he's like, "Well, no, no. Um, I'm trying, but here's the deal. We need the actual swamp water that Swamp Thing was made in, and we should be good." And it's like, okay, let's do that then. And that's going to get the virus online. We're going to be able to make moves. Everything's going to be great. Everybody will have a vested interest in going green. And then Batman is able to locate Nightwing, and he just kind of, they're having a tickle fight when he arrives. And he just kind of looks around and is like, "I think I know what happened here.
Yeah, I sent you on one job.
You had one job." And I'm sure, like, no, and I'm sure Nightwing was like, "Yeah, I found her.
You didn't
So,
say what I had to do after that.
yeah, I found her and I made sure that she stayed here. So, how about that?" And Nightwing says, "Like you never made out with a supervillain." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Good one, Nightwing." Because I'm sure Batman just had to be like, "Okay, that's one for you."
he did. He did. He just kind of looked over and was like, okay.
Yep,
And
all
yeah.
right. Yeah, okay, you got what you needed. Cool, that's fine. So yeah, that was I'm glad he said that because I was like, yeah, not just Catwoman, but also Talia. So yeah,
Mhm.
he got a Batman got a little he got some activity also. But um with Harley Quinn saying, yes, I'll help you, the three of them get in the car, and then Batman says, hey, based on what I found, this is what they're trying to do. And so they need to find a henchman. And then Harley spots a guy. And so they're like, oh, okay, we got one. Of course, just randomly walking the street. That's cool. And then they find out, oh, he was he didn't he stood you up at prom? That's why we just chased this man?
Yeah, he made her mom cry.
Yep. And Batman, of course, gets into the lecturing. And she's pretty much like, well, whatever. My bad. Let's go to the actual place where the actual henchmen are. It's going to be fine. And so they go to Bloodhaven, where they find uh, an actual henchman. And whenever Batman and Nightwing walk in, everybody's like, what are they doing here?
Mhm.
Like everybody's immediately like, this is nah, we don't like this. And, there's a little musical number sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Well, there are a couple because there are the two like twins that are singing,
Mhm.
and then Harley's
Harley
got to
has
go
her
up there
own.
and do a song. She does that, and Shrubby gives her what she's looking for. And then everybody in there is like, "Hey, Batman, uh, fuck you." And Batman is like, "I'm so glad you said that because these hands are rated E for everyone in here.
Yeah.
I have been looking for a fight all day long. Let's fucking go." And so there's some of that I wish we could have seen, but I know that the runtime would have gotten a little bit long if we had done that. And so, that's fine. So then they're in the car and Booster Gold calls. Do you know who Booster Gold is?
I did not. No, not before this one.
Okay. So Booster Gold is a pretty comedic character. He is from the future and he was, an athlete, but a very regular guy. And so he basically took some future tech and came to this time so that he could be a hero instead of a
Hmm.
nobody in his own time.
Okay.
And so Booster Gold has all of the hubris and he's incompetent a lot of times. Again, he's very much a comedic character. He's got a little AI helper named Skeets, who's great. But Booster Gold called, and whenever Booster Gold called, the ringtone was the theme song for Justice League Unlimited, which was just a callback to me. I was like, "Oh, I heard it.
Yeah.
I caught that." Because this occurs in the same universe, and that's where we see Booster Gold in this universe and all that. So yeah, when Booster Gold calls, he's like, "Yeah, everybody's off world, or they're handling some other kind of issue, and these are the people that I have." And then he names a bunch of nobodies, and then he's like, "I can come myself." Now, let me say this about that. That is one of the best additions to this movie because I often say, if the world is about to end, where the fuck is everybody else that needs to be taking care of this issue? Because if this is truly world ending, you call in the heavy hitters. You call in the big guns to take care of it. There is absolutely no reason that there shouldn't be other people involved if this could actually destroy life on Earth as far as you know, animals go and people. And so they address that. And I think that's really important that they were able to say, like, this is the reason nobody's able to, help you. That's the reason, because we know that you exist in this giant universe of everybody that we've seen over the past 30 years. Like, we know that all these people are here and they can't help you. Here's why. Cool. I'm really glad we addressed that because that would have been one of the questions that I came away with was where was Wonder Woman
Yeah.
when this thing happened? Like, what, why is nobody concerned with the fact that poison ivy might end life on Earth? And so, cool. They also address how this disease probably won't affect them because he says poison ivy's mutation is pretty natural, and Floronic Man isn't even from this world, so they don't care. Like they will be unbothered by the change that happens. So that's another reason that they're doing this, and they're not worried about the ramifications. So that's another thing that I'm really glad that they address in this movie because that's another question I would have been like, so is the disease just not going to hit them too? No, it's not. And here's why. So, and those are the kind of like little things that can be difficult to address in a tight 75 minutes, but I'm glad they took the time to do it. And so they, this is when it is explained by Dr. Goldblum that they have to use the actual swamp water that Swamp Thing used, and so we need to go to Louisiana in order for the virus to work. Then the trio busts in, and Poison Ivy's like, "You're working with these D-bags? Really?" Because one of the things that I love about Poison Ivy is that she's absolutely a supervillain, but also her reasons are like, I I don't hate why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that they're just evil, or they want revenge, or they're just crazy, or they're narcissistic. There are a lot of like just general bad guy reasons, but she's an eco-terrorist. She's like, I'm trying to save the planet from you viruses. Like, y'all are the reason that the Earth is struggling right now. And so that's I'm trying to save the planet. And if that means killing all you motherfuckers, that's what it's gonna be.
That's generally her stance in just about every story you're going to find her in is completely unbothered by everyone else's problems and their own agendas. And she's like, I'm just over here trying to do my master plan. And if you don't care about that, fine. I'd rather be alone anyway.
Yeah,
Unless it's Harley and she wants to come kick it. Otherwise, fuck off.
yeah,
I'm,
generally, I already don't like people.
yeah.
And on top of that, people are my problem. So this is a two birds, one stone situation. I get to save the ecosystem and get rid of the things I don't like, the pests, but also the actual reason that it is dying.
Yeah.
So I win in all the ways. And so she's pissed because, it's a situation where I'm sure Batman doesn't all the way agree with what she's trying to do, but of course, the way she's trying to do it is the problem. Because honestly, whether or not somebody is the villain in a story is a matter of perspective in most cases.
True.
And so if you are, on the side of green, then you're like, no, I get why she's doing it. And she's had to resort to these methods because you people won't stop destroying the earth. If even if you slowed down a little bit, if you would just pull back on some of your destructive ways, then things may be a little better. But the fact that y'all aren't listening to her, she's having to resort to this. Nothing ever gets done peacefully. Y'all don't listen when I try to, tread quietly. So now I got to hit you over the head with something. Now you're going to listen.
Yeah.
And so, that's just how it goes. So she's like, I can't believe you're working with them. I thought we were friends. And she's like, and Harley's like, could you just not turn the world into plant people? I really don't look good in green. You know that. Why
Yeah.
would you do this? And so,
Barely keeping herself alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so the fighting begins and a fire breaks out, and Dr. Goldblum starts to, be like, "Oh no, where am I? What's happening?" And Floronic Man is like, "God damn it, the mind control's wearing off." And she's like, "Oh, that's fine. I just need to like go over there." And Floronic Man's like, "Nope, we're done with
Mm-mm.
that guy.
I don't
I
have time
didn't
for
like
this.
him anyway. He had his lips all over you, and so he's out of there." And of course, Floronic Man killed him so that he couldn't, tell them what was going on or how to fix it or any of that. And Poison Ivy is like, "I cannot leave my dear friend." Like, I like that even as pissed off as Poison Ivy was, she still said, "That is my friend. I don't want to leave her in this burning building."
Hmm.
And Floronic Man was like, "Now we got shit to do. So we're leaving. She has already chosen her side. She's not your real friend. I'm your best friend now. She's not your real friend. I'm your friend." Like he does that whole thing.
Yeah.
He had just a splash of jealousy, Floronic Man did.
A
Just
splash. A
yeah,
couple.
yeah, a couple splashes in a couple
Yeah.
places. So yeah, that was interesting. They gave him a little character because yeah, he was not happy about Poison Ivy having to control that man. And then yeah, when Harley showed up, he was like, your old best friend? No, it's me now. I'm your best friend. How dare you have an old best friend? How dare you
Yeah.
have a life before me?" Um,
Makes me wonder what his plans were. Like after the fact, did he think
I
Poison
think he
Ivy was
did.
gonna
I think he did.
stay around? This was going to blossom into something more?
It had to because if everybody else dies,
True. Yeah, it's
then
just gonna be him and her in the green, and he was like, yeah.
yeah, I'm good with that. I hadn't found my queen. Yeah, he's happy. He's like, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's get rid of all the people. We don't need them. It's just gonna be you and me, baby." Uh, so Dr. Goldblum stabbed is like, "Hey, you need to go to Louisiana." And Harley is hurt. Harley's like, "Come on, Doc, you're gonna be okay. We're gonna save you." And that really shows the change in Harley's character. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me think like, are you a sociopath?
Yeah, 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 because that was a lot of empathy that she showed there and a lot of humanity of knowing that he was going to die, but she continued to hold him and tell him like, "Hey, everything's gonna be okay. The Batman's here. Batman fixes everything. We got you." Fully knowing what was gonna happen. It
Mm-hmm.
was very sweet of her.
Because yeah, that's the thing. They were in a burning, collapsing building. The authorities were not on the way. Like there was like it was a fatal wound, very intentionally.
Mhm.
And so yeah, like that's those kind of things. I'm like, I don't think this version of you is a sociopath. Matter of
No.
fact, I don't think you were ever a sociopath. I think that you were brainwashed, and now that you're coming out of it, or now that you are out of it, like you're a regular person. But you may, because the Joker was all of the things, um, you kind of forced yourself to be cool with all of the stuff that was going on and even contribute to it. But like, I don't think you're actually a sociopath. I think you care about others
Yes.
and you do have empathy, and you're not just out here pretending to have emotions and feelings about things.
Yeah, there's certainly mental illness there, but it is not that one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like something going on. Like I'm not saying you're just okay,
Yeah.
but I don't think sociopath is the correct diagnosis.
No.
But and she may have just been correcting Batman as far as what he was referring to, but that may not have been, she may not self-identify as a sociopath.
Yeah, there you
She may have just said, "No, what you're talking about is not a psychopath. What
go.
you're talking about is a sociopath." But so Floronic Man and Poison Ivy, they eat the yam from uh I guess Swamp Thing's loins, and they become one with the green, and they just walk into a tree and find themselves in Louisiana because you
Mhm.
can do that when you're one with the green.
Yeah, with special yams.
Yeah. And so, of course, Batman and them they head over there, and Harley is not invited. And then I think she starts, yelling and crying and making a scene.
Hmm.
And Nightwing is like, she's not wrong. Like, you're not going to be able to talk Poison Ivy out of this, but you're the one who said always have a contingency plan.
Yeah.
And if anyone can talk Poison Ivy down from this, it's going to be Harley. And Batman is like, God damn it. Get in the car. I guess we're leaving. And so they arrive in Louisiana with all of Argus. And of course, all those soldiers are literally just there to get abducted and, you know, eaten and killed. Yeah, like they're fodder. Um, they are there to let us know, oh shit, there are plant traps and all that. So, uh, Harley is, she is playing all the sides.
Hmm.
So she pushes Batman and Nightwing into a trap and then is like, I'm doing what you thought I was going to do all along. Ha ha ha. And
Yeah.
then, uh, and then she tries for a minute to be like, yeah, Poison Ivy, you're my best friend. I'm with you. And then is immediately like, babe, don't do this.
Please.
Yeah,
Come
really
on.
though. Like, I cannot have you turn everyone into plant people. Like, it's not going to be good. Batman said that if you have even the tiniest mistake, we will all die. So could you not do this? And then, of course, she goes into her like, I'm doing this for the greater good. Like,
Hmm.
this is the right thing to do. Here are all of my reasons. I know that you can get behind this because you're my best friend and you see where I'm coming from and you know how much I care about this. And so join me because we're doing this.
Yeah.
And Harley's like, well, all right. And so she frees Batman and Nightwing, and she and Harley begin just throwing hands like they are fighting. And of course, Batman and Nightwing are trying to fight Floronic Man, and it is not going well for them. They are getting their asses beat. And Harley says that to them earlier. Harley's like, he beat y'all's ass. You can't do anything about him. So I need to come with you because that's just what's going to happen again.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, eventually, Poison Ivy does subdue Harley, and she's about to like make it happen. She's like, "We're I all I need to do is drop this in here, and it's done." And then Harley says, "All right, I got to whip out the nuclear option." And then she starts crying, which is another like moment. I was like, "Are you a sociopath?"
No. Yeah, I like that she was like, okay, you know what? It's the like facade is over. Let me take my makeup off. This isn't, Harley Quinn in costume, us being villains. I am pleading with you as your friend, as a human, as like the Dr. Quinzel, whatever.
Yes,
Like
Harleen.
we are stepping out of this character and I'm speaking to you as your friend. Like
Yeah, like
enough.
please do not destroy living things.
Yeah.
And of course, Poison Ivy's like, "You bitch!
You bitch. How dare you?
I can't believe you would do this to me. Uh, but I love you so much, but I hate you right now."
Hmm.
And so that works out. And so Poison Ivy, was like, I mean, we can't do this, right? Like, we can't do it. And Floronic Man is like, no, we're doing it. We're already here. All we have to do is drop this in. And then Swamp Thing appears, and Floronic Man is afraid. Like,
Yeah.
there is fear in his heart. And Swamp Thing is like, hey, you are going to upset the balance. You are going to, like, this is real fucked up what you're doing. And I don't like it, but I'm not going to stop you. And then he just descends back into the swamp. And Flying Man just starts laughing because he's like, oh shit. I was so afraid and I almost got it. I didn't get his blessing, but like, no one can stop me now.
Yeah.
I can just do it and we're good. And then, Batman and Nightwing are like, oh shit, what are we going to do? He's about to destroy everything. He's about to release this disease. It's going to turn us all into plant people. And so best case scenario, we're plant people. Worst case scenario, we die right now. I don't know what we're going to do. And then Harley's like, would you shut the fuck up and think for 1 second? For 1 second. He's a grass man.
Yeah.
And so here's an idea. We'd light his ass on fire.
Yeah.
And they were like, huh, can't believe we didn't think of that.
The whole time.
And
You were
so
in a burning building.
they were in a burning building. Yeah.
Don't. Right there.
And so Batman literally just pulls out a match
Mhm.
because, of course, he keeps matches on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And vitamin B12
Oh, yeah.
and
Always. Yeah.
chapstick.
BC powder,
The important things.
all the important things. Um, and so, we go to the credits and then we just see Floronic Man on fire,
The end.
running for his life. And I'm thinking, you're in a swamp. Like,
True.
just find some swamp and put yourself out.
Mm.
But no, no. And then in the post-credit scene, uh, we see that there's a guy who's just going through it, just having a terrible time at life. And Harley is like, all right, you could win some free therapy from an actual doctor because I am not allowed to practice, and I legally have to let you know that. So it's wipeout time. And so he's just doing these obstacles and they're just fucking him up. And I'm thinking, like, okay, so this man is already like depressed, going through it, having a terrible time just in life, and you're gonna make him go through like that was just terrible.
Yeah.
Uh to make
She
this
found a
poor
way to
man.
mix her two things. She gets to be the Harley Quinn and have fun and put on a show, but then also potentially give out some therapy.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure that yeah, she was having a good time. And the funny thing is, like, Harley Quinn, as far as real life goes, like there is somebody who absolutely would have said, hell yeah, we'll give you a show.
Yeah, Dr. Phil got one.
That's what I'm saying. Like
He
in
didn't
real
have a
life,
license.
yeah, in real life, there are people that would be like, yeah, yeah, you are entertaining, you will bring numbers,
Hmm.
and numbers are what we care about. So yeah, we will absolutely greenlight a show for you to host.
Yeah.
You just have a couple legal disclaimers, and then yeah, you're good. And so yeah, I was like, yep, that's how that would have gone. Martha Stewart went to jail and then got a show with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if it's gonna do numbers, yeah, you'll absolutely get a show. So yeah. So that's in the movie. I will say one of the questions I have for you, do you think that this movie balanced comedy and drama well?
Yes. And I think that is one of the things DC animation does very well. I get a story, I get that drama, I get the backstory, I get the depth of the characters, but I also get to laugh a lot. With straight up just jokes. Um, they're roasting each other. You get all the innuendos that they try to hide and the ones that they very clearly do not hide. Um, so yeah, it's a mixture of both, and it's nice because you get to sit there as an adult and watch a cartoon and get that mixture.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if I feel like it balanced it well. Um, because there were pretty serious stakes, but this definitely ran as a comedy. And with the way it ended, that was
Mm.
kind of vague and unclear.
Yeah, I
But
see what you mean. Yeah.
and
If
so
you take it at like a literal, the world was literally about to end and we're out here just having jokes, farting in the car, no big deal. And then all of a sudden we're just like, oh yeah, you know, we'll just toss a match and then it's all over. In scene.
Yep.
Um, yeah, where was the closure?
So
But
like I mean I didn't hate it, but I was kind of like, okay. Like the world was about to end. Like got dangerously close. And yeah, they just kind of lit him on fire. And that's the thing, like him being on fire doesn't like we don't really know anything because like Floronic Man could still recreate all of the situations. We don't know if he was successful in pouring like we don't know anything. It
right,
just
well,
kind of
and
ended.
he had it in his hand too, right? And then they lit him on fire. So like what happened to it? Did it burn up? And Poison Ivy still has the recipe on the computer that's on the table back there. So really, we didn't do much but just like set him back a couple steps.
Yeah. Like, is Poison Ivy gonna get arrested? I would
Mm,
assume
yeah,
she
she'll
probably
probably spend a little bit of time in
in
Arkham for
Arkham.
sure. She'll
Yeah,
figure
of
out how to get out. She'll go
course.
find her computer somewhere. Start all over again.
Yeah. And I'm sure Batman's gonna hold on to the computer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Batman's gonna be, I'll keep this. Uh
Hmm.
but yeah. Argus, y'all can take whatever else you need, but yeah, this computer, I'll hold on to this. But yeah, I don't know. I think it didn't know whether it wanted to be a comedy or a drama because I feel like usually you'll have a drama with comedy in it, or you'll have a comedy with like dramatic moments. But
Hmm.
I don't think this knew if it wanted to be a comedy or a drama. Like it was like the tone felt weird in different moments, or
Yeah,
rather, inconsistent, I guess.
they pretty much just took a single comic and threw it into 75 minutes. It really wasn't too much of a story that we would normally expect from a movie.
Yeah, and you know, not terrible, but that was I was just kind of like, eh. And again, just with the ending, I was like that's ambiguous, but it was just it felt like just a fun bullshit comedy.
Yeah.
So, um, Brittany, scale of 1 to 10, what are you thinking?
Um, I will give it maybe like a solid seven, 7.5. I was entertained.
Okay, um, same boat, like 7. Like I maybe 6.5, but like I think 7 is I think I could do a 7.
Yeah. But it
Like,
also has Poison Ivy in it, so of course I'm gonna love it because Poison Ivy rarely shows up in anything. So I see her in it, I'm like, I'm invested.
yeah. And I knew you loved Poison Ivy. I knew you had Poison
Yeah.
Ivy on your body, and I was like, yeah, this is the like I knew that I was gonna have you on this movie um from jump.
Appreciate it. I bought the movie just so I could watch it. I watched it twice before this. I enjoyed it. It was worth it.
But I'm
And to
glad.
get to talk about it.
Yes. I'm so glad you made it on with us. Um yeah. Anything else on the movie or on any of it?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Excellent. In the next episode, we will be discussing Batman Gotham by Gaslight. So until then, salutations.